Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, well, you saw it just being launched. There it is on screen. Yes, I finally got the Relativity, and at the time of recording, that is thanks to the not the Battle Pass, no. In the event store, currently running in the Wrath of Khan Arc Part 2, where we get in the Reliant. Yeah. Be another, what? 96 days before 96 days before I actually get it. So, but I got the opportunity to get the Relativity, so you know what, I thought, you know what, right, let's go get it. So, let's jump into it, let's see what this thing is all about, because I've had this thing nearly 24 hours now, and I'm actually quite surprised by it. I was not impressed with it when it was launched. All those many moons ago, I can't even remember how long ago it was actually launched. I know it's this year, but I was not impressed with it. Literally wasn't. So I didn't even bother going after it. I got to about 48 blueprints, and I thought, you know what, forget it. But anyway, I've got it. I am reasonably actually impressed. I wouldn't exactly say it's going to be one of my top ships, but we'll talk about a review later on as well. And also, I've got a little update in regards to my own content creation pathway. So stick around for that as well. But anyway, if you do end up liking this video, please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So here it is, the USS Relativity. It is a world-class starship. We first saw this in fact, the only time we ever saw this one was in Star Trek Voyager, episode Relativity, when 7 of 9 was recruited by the 29th century Starfleet to try and stop Captain Braxton, who was, at the time, coincidentally, the captain of the USS Relativity in the 29th century. After the events of Future's End, where Captain Braxton was back in the 20th century, saying the future's nigh because Chronoworks boss, I forgot his poxy name, you know, for somebody who's a Star Trek bot nerd, I forgot his bloody name. I'm thinking Harris, but that don't seem right. But anyway, some 20th century nerd, computer nerd, thought he could pilot a 29th century vessel back through time, not adjusting the temporal core to compensate for the time travel. Idiot. But then again, what do you expect from a primitive in such an advanced ship? But we don't have to worry about this thing coming back to try and fix the timer, because that's pretty much what happened in Relativity. They were stopping Braxton, who was the future Braxton, after the captain of this thing. Yeah. To quote a phrase from Doctor Who, it's all timey-wimey. So, let's mix our sci-fis here. As long as we don't talk about lightsabers and, you know. But anyway, so we've got the ship on screen, and how much did this thing cost? Well, here's a screenshot of before I built it. So you got the cost here. As you can see, it's going to cost you around about 74 billion titanium to do, and 26 million dilithium. And it's also going to take common gas as well, in the form of about 108,000. It is a G4 Explorer, 15 tiers, and it will take you around about 15 days and 3 hours to build, minus the helps and any skipping that you actually decide to do. Now, there is an upgrade cost for this thing, so here's the upgrade cost for this. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of titanium required, but it also needs Sigma resources as well. This will tier through from G4 through to G6. I'll put it up in editing. I forgot what shipyard this is available at, so in editing I would have put that up for you. You'll also notice it takes G4, G5 and G6 materials, and it also has 2 safety bypass engine relativity safety bypasses, which is engine parts. First one's at tier 6 and the next one's for tier 11. So they are your changes from like the G4 to the G5, the G5 to the G6. But what you'll also notice as well is the specialty parts, because we all know that these specialty ships come with their own parts as well. Yes, 489,000 charge capacitors and 489,000 static capacitors. And where can we find them? Well, we'll find them in the faction store, which we'll look at in just a moment, because now we need to have a look at the ship's ability. Now, this is the bit that really actually impressed me. because I was not 100% sure how this was going to work. But as you can see, it has its own ability to apply an anti-charge or an anti-static state to the Crenum entities or the Crenum formation armadas. It is sort of a one-trick pony. It is two different armadas it can do, because the entities are more like hostiles but with a slight twist, whereas the formation armadas are pretty much still group armadas. So we'll have a look at them a little bit later on. We might run a couple of the entities. I won't be running a formation because unfortunately I can't speed that up. But I can give you a general idea. But the one thing is, I was actually quite impressed of how easy it is to shift between the anti-charged and the anti-static, which basically means we no longer have to apply those exocoms if you run this thing by itself. Now, what I did find, sadly, is that if you do run a separate ship, you will have to apply an exocom just to help that particular ship, because this thing in the entities will not actually help it. Now, if you can tell me that I'm wrong about that one, please put it in the comment section down below. I will happily correct the record if I am wrong. However, when it comes to the group armada, the state stands. It will work, because as per usual with the group armadas, any particular state like morale, hull breach, burning, if one ship applies it, the whole fleet in that armada will also benefit from that state, because it'll simply be applied. So applying the anti-charge or the anti-static to the formation armadas means the whole armada will benefit from it. But sadly, you're probably going to need the exocom. So now I'm going to say that it's for definite. But like I say, I'm never going to be 100% sure, because I'm not very good at understanding half this stuff. But from the battles I did yesterday, it does kind of fit. So, extra abilities then that it's also got is increasing damage against the Crenum entities by 5,000%. This is a tier based increase. As you can see, I'm level 5. It kicked out the dock at 5,000. So yeah, there it is. And then obviously relative growth, also increasing encrypted intelligence gained by 370% from the entities and the formation armadas, which is all well and good, but the problem is that's not the main currency that we actually need to work in the DTI faction store. But the one thing is, that's going to perfectly segue into the DTI faction store for us. So let's hop on over to that particular faction store. I'm probably going to shift my ass out of the way to lock it in, get it up. Yep. So here we go. Now, the downside I didn't realise when I built this thing, at the top line here, usually you've got the blueprints for the relative. If I remember correctly, there were 600 each, and they provided one blueprint each. However, there was two chests, one for the anti-static, one for the anti-charged. Yes, so using those credits, you had to use both credits just to actually do it. So potentially, if you was only going down the one side, you was definitely looking at a 200 day to actually do it. And that was another reason why I didn't go for it. I thought, you know what, like, I can't pull these incursion directives enough to actually do enough of these armadas. Not if I want to focus on other stuff in this thing. And I've scaled back so far just to make sure I can build up the armadas. Yeah, I just thought it's way too much work. It's going to take me a lot longer than 100 days to actually get this thing. So, well, I mean, I probably could have done it in 100 days, but again, I probably would have had to spend some money. But alas, thanks to the event store here in this arc, I do not need to worry about it. Now, I'm not going to put the event store up because, yeah, by the time some of you watch this video, the event store is going to be over. It's not going to be there. But anyway, so once you've unlocked the relativity and got it built, then you will end up developing a few additions to the DTI store. Most notably, this one is the daily gift, which is going to give you some static and charged credits, which is great because you need these. I need the static primarily. I'll tell you a little bit further down why I specifically need that one. So great start there. It is a 22-hour cooldown like everything else in this store, so just bear that in mind. now, if we move a little bit further on, now the encrypted intelligence that it's going to give you the boost of is what you're going to come in here to actually pull for your faction reputation. This has no limit on how much you can pull. So if we just jump in quickly here, if I quickly do that, technically I could just press the 50 chest down there, but I do that, it's going to bring me out. But guess what? I can go back in and do more. So just to prove it, here we go. I've done more. So as you can see, that's 400 million I've just pulled automatically. Now, what I'm going to say is a little trick for this particular one is when you actually get a little bit higher, you'll be wanting to make sure you have all 3 factions. And this is going to be the other one you need to add. But to do this one, you are going to need to reach one of these 3 ranks. This is how you're going to gain all 3 factions. You need to be a rookie to get one of them, chief detective to get 2 of them. To have all 3 in total, you'll have to be the temple investigator. You can pull these as and when you reach those particular ranks in the DTI store, which you'll do by pulling your factions, which again requires both sets of credits to do the decent pull. But temple investigator will get you all 3. Now, while you're working towards that, keep killing the entities, keep killing the formation armadas, and keep building up that raw intelligence. If I can just get it up, keep building it up, because when you finally have all 3, because there's no limit on how many times you can pull this, it's going to be a bit of a button pusher. But guess what? Because the plus gives you the same number of chests as at the end there, 50 chests. Keep pressing that 50 chests. Yes, you'll have to keep going back into it. But you can absolutely wipe out any reputation grinding that you need to do to reach the specific required reputation level for your particular ship. So for me, for going into G6 at the end of June 2025, and I'll put that in there for future purposes, I can hold back and say, I'm not going to bother with reputation grinding in the mirror universe. I'll go in there every now and again to get the parts. The reputation is a bonus for me. But yeah, if I keep doing these entities, I'm going to build up that intelligence. The higher the tier my relativity is, the higher the percentage of intelligence I'm going to gather, which means the more I'm going to have saved up. So say like I wanted to go for that G6 rare, hold off, then I'll slam it through, boom, got the reputation already. Now yes, that is several billions. I do need 500 billion 500 billion to max out the reputation at its current level. But if we actually pull up the calculator at just for a minute, and then we also do the 500 billion, so then I need 9, don't I? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So 500 billion, right? Divided by the 200 million here, so 2, 4, 6. Guess what? 2,500 times. Woo! That's a lot. That is a lot. And I've just done that maths wrong. Forget that. So let's just quickly get back in there. So 500 million reputation. What was it? 80 million it was giving me. So divide by 80 million. And I'm sure somebody jumped into the jumped into the comments and say, Pegasus, that's wrong. So there you go. 6,250, right? 6,250 times you're going to have to do this. That is a hell of a lot. So you could probably do it in spits and spurts. So how much raw intelligence would you be potentially looking at to actually do that? Well, guess this is the right time to actually add in that 200 million. So you're going to need about 1.2 trillion raw intelligence to actually do it. That's going from 0 to 500 billion. So bear in mind, if you're already at 15 billion, which going into G6 you really need to be at, yeah, you don't need to worry too much about that amount. But that just gives you the top line of how much it is to go from 0 to the top in already. So yeah, I'm not going to need 1.25 trillion, 1.25 trillion just to actually do this. I'm probably going to need closer to like just the 1 trillion. But anyway, so there's an idea, should you actually want to use that particular chest as a way just to get that grinding going, so just save up the intelligence. But again, this is your game. Play it how you want. If you don't want to do it that way, you want to grind out in Mirror Universe, crack on! Go grind in Mirror Universe and have some fun killing all those Terrans. Because I'm sure it's not going to be too much of a hassle for us to actually wipe out the Terrans, is it? But anyway, so moving on then. Also, you got the formation directives as well, 600 each against using both credits. Get them as in when you can to actually start the formation armadas, because you will need 100 directives to start each one. But again, that's nothing to do with the relativity, because you can do that with any ship. These next three, you will have access without the relativity, but when you actually get into it, they do improve. So again, here you got more raw intelligence. But as well, you're looking at the static capacitors, which is what you're going to need to upgrade the ship. And then as well, you're going to need these tachyons as well, which is what you're going to need for your research tree as well. But as well, you're guaranteed some credits for this particular one. But what you're going to need, well, you're going to need the wreckage out of the formation armadas to actually do these chests as well. But as well, you're going to be guaranteed shards for Seska. And you're also going to get 2 shards of the Strand of Crenum here, which is a nice artifact that will help you increase the damage per round when the ship has any state, isolytic damage most specifically. So, and then if we look at the I button, it's basically just going to tell us what we're going to get. So we've got 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 7, so the gap's getting up. So I'll let you go through and have a look, but starting off with just a single chest at 6,700. Yep, okay, so you will need to do some of these formation armadas. Now, there is the charged one as well, which is basically going to give you the exact same, except it's going to give you charged capacitors and charged tachyons, but everything else is pretty much the same, with the exception of the credits as well. But the cost is exactly the same too. Now, watch out, because the cost will go up as you tier up as well, so be aware of that one. Then, of course, you've got this one, where you've got the Crenum Quantum Tech, which is a nice little chest here, which is going to give you Federation faction credits, and it's also going to give you some blueprints towards the ships. Now, I'm working towards the Enterprise D. Looking at this, no relativity, those epics were half the amount of blueprints. I could only get 5, and the chances weren't very high. Now I can get 10. But again, the epics, the charges are still only at 4%. Ugh. So, yeah. But obviously, that's what I'm currently getting. And then obviously, as I improve, the number of shards will increase as well. And then as you can see, the commons drop off when you get into 5 to 7. So, but then again, as you go, it's tier 15. You're looking at the G6 rares and epics by then as well. So no commons, uncommons. So G4 uncommon. No, okay. So I didn't think they had the G4 uncommons. Yeah, it's G5 uncommons. So I don't know why that's there. Maybe it's just another typo. But again, that's what it's going to cost you. So this will go up with your relativity, improving, getting better. So eventually, if you do formation armadas, these Crenum ones a lot, you could end up with all three of those epics, not a problem. Me, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going for the Enterprise D, which from the time of recording should take me another couple of weeks to actually do. But anyway, moving on. So here's your parts to upgrade it, then the static capacitors and the charge capacitors. And then if you click on that, you're going to have chests. 120 credits for one chest to get 360, or if you want to go for the 720 parts, 4 times the price. So to double, you got to quadruple the price. Yeah. I don't like that idea. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. But hey, I didn't design it. So then you've got the tachyons. Again, this is what you're going to need to do the research. And trust me, I'd get at least this static one because you are definitely going to need it. We'll talk about that in the research in a little bit. But again, double, quadruple the price. So I hate these price taxes. It's ridiculous and everything. So then obviously you can see here we've got the safety bypass tier 6. So I can claim that, and then I've got that ready for when I eventually get a tier 6. It's going to take me time. Am I going to rush to upgrade this thing? Not particularly. Then obviously Seska has got a free claim of 40 shards. So definitely get them. Seska is a relatively decent officer, and this, as far as I'm aware, is the only way to source her at the time of recording. So as you can see here, lone operative, restoring your shield health of your ship every round by 12% when taking on red hostiles. And then treacherous ideals, increasing crit damage by 12% 4 rounds each time you score a hit, once per weapon. So the relativity itself, if you've got her on the relativity, has 4 weapons. 4 weapons. I haven't put the firing pattern up. In fact, I tell you what, if in editing I remember, I'll put the firing pattern up there so you can actually see. So basically, she has a chance to increase. This is a stackable ability. It is below deck. It lasts for 4 rounds. Having your critical damage potentially increased by, like I say, with the relativity, 48%. That's actually not particularly too bad, even in today's game with such high numbers involved. So, yeah. Now, there is a daily claim for Seska as well, which is already moved up one. Oh! So, as you can see, going in there, claiming these. Again, doubling, tripling is going to still get a tax. So, by all means, if you want to spend 120 days grinding this one out, that's your choice. Me, again, while I say she is a fantastic officer and definitely worthwhile, especially in today's game with like the new augment releases, so you're going to need that extra shield health, or going up against the entities, or what was the last thing that she was considered for? Wave defense. Yeah, wave defense, also another one as well. So yeah, she is a great officer. There's no questions about that one. So if you can get it, do. I'm going to wait to see if more drops. More sourcing drops. Then obviously you've got the Strand as well. Again, it's same prices, but this is using the static credits rather than the charged. So next up, the faction credits. Now, I've been claiming the Federation credits because, like I say, I'm working towards getting my Enterprise D. This was, well, yeah, it was a bit less than what it is now, and I was pulling just over 6,000 on the 4 chest pull. Yes, I was suffering the tax on this one, but I'm trying to get the blueprints as fast as I can possibly do it. Yes, there are other ways for me to get Federation credits, which includes the Mirror Universe grind. Yes, but I hate that one because I grind so much to get just a couple of thousand Federation faction credits. Not worth the bloody effort, in my opinion. But this one, now at tier 1, is going to give me a nice 9,800. So that's adding over 3,000 extra credits. So instead of 2 blueprints out of this, I'm now getting 3. And this is a 22-hour cooldown timer as well. So that's going to be great news for me. The other 2 factions you can go and pull as well if you want. But they're going to take the opposite credits. But again, they're still going to be at the same amount of payout and the same type of cost, just obviously the opposite credits. So that's pretty much it. Now as well, you've got this available as well, but again, you need to get your building up to level 60 to get this one as well, so don't worry too much. But that's your encrypted intelligence bonus as well. Now, one last thing in this faction store which the relativity does affect, which is your DTI security access card. These are the parts you need to upgrade the DTI building. the cost is still roughly the same. And like I said, this is the reason why I want that particular chest, so I can go and do this and get this. It is a 1.5 times increase. Does this continue as the relativity gets bigger and bigger? I do not know. I can't answer that particular question, so that one I'm not going to jump in and say yes or no. So, and that is pretty much it for the faction store. So now let me just check my notes, because I know there was a few. No, it says to go to the ship in use next. So now we need to travel out to the Delta Quadrant with the ship. But first of all, before we jump in that, how are we going to crew this thing? Well, to be perfectly frank, right, you crew it when you're going up against the entities themselves. Crew it with a simple entity crew. So here I've got Janeway for the isolating damage. I've got Gwen DeMarco as well. Her officer's ability on the ship, if I can... Yeah, that's the officer's ability. I have one job, and that's increasing isolated cascade against marauders and invading entities. So making sure she's on there, I'm going to be slapping as much isolated damage as I can against these things. And then I've got, is it Tolly? Decreasing all the marauder and entities mitigation stats by 100%, 1,011% at rank 5. Based on the defense that I've got below deck, and it's cumulative as well. Now, yes, this is Harry below deck is part of a normal loadout. There's usually more loadouts here, but given the fact this is only level 5, I've not upgraded it yet. I've not got more slots available, but as you can see, it's going to give you the full line eventually. Like I say, Tolly's officer ability there is going to require defense. So what kind of officers would you be looking about in defense? Well, Marcus being the top defense officer, Grush, who's your general stats officer, Kirk as well for defense as well. You can go in with loot crew should you wish to, but being a baby thing like this, don't try it. Go with actual damage first. Now, so let's actually have a look at the ability of this thing. I'm not actually going to take it up against a static, because I can tell you now, I can't do very high. But in fact, I'll tell you what, because I do actually want to show off that particular part. So let's get up to the Delta Quadrant and get into it. So, not them ones, it's... yes, it is these ones. Now, the highest I remember I could go when I originally launched this thing was as far as this. But as you can see, I've got 611 warp range. That, again, I will show you in a little bit. In fact, I'll tell you what, we'll send the ship off. I don't know if I can do a 48, but I'll tell you what, let's give it a go and see what happens. But while that's traveling, let's have a look at the research as well. So, and I'll tell you one thing I ought to do, and I'll see you in the research. Okay, so here we are back in the research trees, and what you need to do is you need to go into your starships tree. What I need to do is send the Titan and the Cerritos out to do actual buffs, just to give this thing a better fighting chance. Vindicator research, yeah, good on you. Absolutely, definitely worth that one, but here we go. So, as you can see, I've already got a couple of bits unlocked here. These primes, so-called, these are free to play. You could do these from get-go. I can't remember what credits they actually used. I think it was the... Was it the static? I think it might have been the static ones. And as you can see, I've only got these ones. Here you go. These are the charged ones. The other two are static. Absolutely worth going after this. As you can see, this one's for the formation, and mine is increasing mitigation. And this one is increasing the shield health for the relativity against formation marauders as well. So absolutely worth going after. But this is where you need to start. As you can see, I've already maxed it out as far as I can go. 450 increase, because the warp range on this thing was relatively crap. And when I say crap, I mean crap. Like I say, I could only reach that 44 system. Was not very good. But having this 450 increase means I can go a lot further. So here's one that's definitely worth going after as well, is damage against the entities. this is one you're going to be pretty much doing most of the time, unless you're really into your formation armadas. So having that extra boost, but again, it takes the static tachyons, and then you've got the loot boost as well. So realistically, working between these two is going to be more preferent. I would probably say stick this one above damage, because this is actually increasing the temporal wreckage. That is the primary loot you actually need. So as long as you're using the relativity with this as high as you can possibly go, and even maxed out at tier 10, it's 150% increase, which is really nice. Again, but by the time you get up there, you're going to have a stronger relativity. You will be using a loot cruise on that thing as well. And you're probably going to be using another starship as well. But really, if you can focus on that one, I would recommend it. Increasing your cargo capacity as well. I'm not going to say that this one's a very decent one for the relativity, because mine's currently already got, with just this crew, which is not a cargo crew, 2.8 million. Well, the loot that you win doesn't go in your cargo hold, it goes straight to your inventory. This, to me, is a waste of a piece of research. But you might want to use a relativity for something else. So, I mean, let's have a look at its maximum boost. 100%. Okay. Now, I can't say what the base is on my cargo, because all mine's affected. Even if I went to the shipyard to show you the basics, it would be just... It's affected by my research. So, the base level is a lot higher. Now, again, we're going back into loot. Here you go, is against the formation armadas. Absolutely worth going after. So you're going to have to unlock the cargo just to get access to this one anyway. But again, increasing that loot, starting off at 50%, so it's a lot higher. Topping out at 1,000%. Now, given the fact the formation armadas are a little bit tight on loot, this is definitely going to really help you as well. And then, of course, you've got the damage as well. Again, another one definitely worth going after, but won't put it high up. Then, of course, you've got the apex barrier as well. But this does not apply when tile is assigned to the bridge. So if you've got tile on the bridge, this is not going to work. So, yeah, thanks. So this one at level 10 will top out at 8,000. So it's not even a full hull. So it's 80% increase. So out of 10 hostiles killed, it'll give you an additional 8. That's it. And then you've got temporal shielding and temporal hull health. Again, that's for all ships. So let's just show you. It says all ships. So absolutely, again, that's just adding to the power creep of the strength of your ships, really. So that's the research. Now let's jump back a little bit and show you the ability of this thing actually working. So as you can see as well from the bottom, I've got my Cerritos and I've got my Titan. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the boost in. As you can see, I'm going to use max fortification and standard fortification just to give the relativity a chance. Now, we're going to jump in here against this thing. So what we need to... Oh, hello. I shouldn't have done that. Which means the Titan's going to go bang. That's absolutely fine. I'm not fussed about that one. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's bring the Titan out of the way. So the relativity is already there. What we're going to do is, what we're against? We're against the charge, so we need the no, that's the anti-static, sorry. Anti-charged. So as you can see here, it says it applies a, this will apply a static charge to the enemy as an anti-charged. At tier 15, you get a 16-minute duration on this thing, and there is a 5-second cooldown. And if you switch to the other one, this one will be deactivated, and we're going to show you this actually working. So I've applied the charge. 20-minute timer. If we actually just jump that up, fortification, max fortification. Okay, it's not showing up, but if you see near Janeway, it says 19 minutes to actually do it. Now, I will quickly speed this up because we want to go down to one of the static ones to show you the static charge actually working. Now it says there's a 5-second cooldown, so you can't stick one on think, shit, I need to switch it. You're going to have to wait 5 seconds. It's not that long, really. So, as you can see, partial victory on this one, not very good. So, obviously, I'm not going to be able to take them on very well. So, I'll tell you what, let's go have a look. What can we do against the static? And then while it's travelling, and you can see the symbols on the relativity, let's get it changed over. Oh, that last symbol's now changed to charge. Simple as that. See the recharge rate just kicked in. So that's now going to become available. Oh, apparently I'm destroyed. Just a quick repair, back in, and off we go again. Gotta love that bug, ain't you? Gotta love it. You know, you can script a video all you want. Scopely's script is gonna send it out. Again, are we done on this one? Again, oh, we actually lost against this one. So, again, I can't go these high yet with the relativity. But it's still a decent ship. Now, I've lost all the buffs and everything, so we're going to bring them home. And then what we'll... So, you've seen the switch, and then what we'll do is we'll just take it straight out to one of the formation armadas quickly, just to show you what you'd actually do with this thing. So, another minute to get there. Wow. But anyway, while we wait for that to go there, let's move on to the next part, which I put is the value. Is there value in this ship? Yes, if you do the research, there is some value in this ship. It will give you the loot that you need. You can get the extra credits. You can go after that reputation as well. Like I said, if you decide to just bulk out all that intelligence and then do a massive run at it, yes, it's going to be a lot of button clicking, which is one thing we want to get rid of in the game. But when the sliders only go as high as 50, there's not a lot you can do. But other than that, there is some... I was, like I say, surprised myself. There was some value in this ship. There is value in it. It's a lot better than I originally thought it was going to be. So that says a little bit as well. That in fact, I literally put this thinking, this is a crap ship. It's a waste of a waste. But no, it's not. It is actually worth it. Now, would I recommend that you break your nose and go after this and get the money out and spend the money on it? No, I would not go that far. I won't put it in the top 5. I would not put it in the top 5 of specialty ships available in this game. But anyway, so before we finish that off, here we go. This is the formation armada. Why he's going all the way up there, I do not know. We'll bring him here. So as you can see, then the this particular side is the charge. So this one, you will need to apply the anti-charge ability to it. So as you can see, it will replenish its shields and hull health at the end of each round of combat, unless you apply the anti-charge to actually stop it from doing that. So again, that one you're going to need the relativity for. Is the anti-static side. Again, so this will apply the anti-static, this one, which is stopping it from increasing its isolytic damage every single round. With these two, you will only need 1 relativity in each. So in total, to do this armada, 2 relativities. Because this third one is a neutral. You do not need static or a charge state on this whatsoever. So that can be loaded up with whoever. The other two do. And like I say, because it's a 10-minute armada, I'm not going to run it because that's way too much editing. But that is the relativity. So like I say, it is worth it. Now, the only sourcing for Seska as well is another reason why this ship will be worth it, because Seska is a fantastic officer. She's not one of the best in the game by a mile, but she's still pretty darn good. So, yeah. Faction, specifically the Kremen faction still has value as you tier up the ship. Beyond that, I would say it's an absolute must, unless it's not an absolute must unless you, like I say, you want to source Seska. It's the only place to source her. So that's just literally what I've written down there. I've added a little extra, but that's the actual, that's it. So here you go. This is the loot that you're after. And then that reward chest will also give you the other loot. And then as you can see as well, you got some encrypted intelligence. So just throwing that in. Now, quickly, the CC program updates. Now, for those of you who do go on the website, you would have seen that Scopely have announced that they've started up a content creators program. I have applied. You'd have seen the announcement in my Discord that of my application being submitted. I've now got to wait for it to come round and decide whether or not I'm going to get it. What will this mean for me? If I'm successful, it means basically 2.5 years of work is paid off. Now, you all know that I'm not a big fan of pushing self-promotion. Please donate to me. Please donate via this, that, and the other. I sometimes say it. Not all the time. Because it's not about the money. It's about making content for you guys. Making sure that I do videos that you understand and they are for you. The money is a bonus. That's what it is. Yes, you can join the memberships on the YouTube should you want to. Hence the reason why, there's another reason why I don't actively push Twitch, because Twitch is too much of subs and bits and adverts popping up every so often, and that really irks me off. I'm watching something, I'm asked a question, and suddenly they're about to answer for me. Boom, 6 ads. Are you taking the proverbial piss? I understand Twitch have got to make money, and that's how they get their revenue in, and it's also how they help pay for their streamers. But again, for me, Twitch is a real pain in the ass. Eventually I'll end up on there, there's no question about it. I will end up on there. I just got to figure out why I can't seem to stream off a laptop properly, and I think I know why. But again, that's going to cost more money to do. But as it comes to, for me, for the content creator program, if I get accepted, it means that I will get the opportunity to sign the elusive NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, which basically means I will have access to information coming out, and which means I've got to keep my fat mouth shut. Yes, however, it means I can better prepare those patch note videos and tell you what's coming and give you more information behind the new feature as well. So if I get it, brilliant. But being the negative Nancy I can be, I'm not holding my breath. I'm going to get it. There are other better streamers who have come along, like Mini Able, who's actually live now as I'm recording. I'm meant to be watching her stream, but I'm late recording this video. But there's Mini Able, there's Major Samo, there's CDP2U, there's now let me get this right, Mod HD, I believe. There's Worthless Liar. There's loads of streamers that I'm aware of. STFC Data Jess, our German content creator who's on YouTube. I don't know if she does Twitch. I think she does. But yeah, so I mean, so we've got people from different languages also doing this. I mean, I remember content creators like Emperor's Son. I don't even know if he's still going. We know No One Shall and RevJuice have both lost their NDAs because they were not accepted onto the program for whatever reasons. So yeah, but we'll have to wait and see what will happen in regards to me. If I don't, am I going to be sore about it? Yes, I will be a little bit sore. But hey-ho, it'll be what it will be. But fingers crossed I get it. And so, but anyway, that's enough for me for today. Thank you for joining me on this video for the Relativity. I need to get this edited now and get it posted, and also join mini stream. So I bet, well, no, she won't wonder where I am. But hey-ho, so I'm off. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, better use that that Talios over there and actually go do the battle pass. But thank you for joining me. I'm Admiral Pegasus. Stay safe. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you do wish to donate, yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, self-promotion. If you do wish to donate to the channel, please, I've got PayPal, Cashapp as well. Links are available in the channel's description if I haven't added it to this video's description. But until then, Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, live long and prosper, and I shall catch you on the next video. Goodbye.